Good morning, dieharders. Who's ready to live for your die hard on the S&W Experience Reviews? On this episode, we will be reviewing the 2007 remake of Halloween, directed by Rob Zombie, starring I don't I don't know his actual name, but starring Michelle from Hancock. If you remember that, if you've seen Hancock, you know who that is. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I don't know when he comes in for my long-winded intros, so here we go. Anyhow, I'm going to begin with the non-spoiler review, and then I'm gonna just dive into the spoiler review. But then I don't know why I'm doing that, man. This movie's like, oh, it's like from 2007. So fuck it. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. Absolutely check it out. No, fuck the non-spoiler review shit. The spoiler. I'm just gonna dive into it. This movie, man, this movie takes Michael Myers, who had been up until now had just been like this tall, mute, like I don't know. Let me present. Michael Myers was just a guy. In the first Halloween movie, Michael Myers was a guy. At no point in the movie did we ever get any inkling that he was more than that. He was just a guy who broke out of an asylum, killed people, and was on his way to like get Laurie Strode. You know, like just because thing is, I like this movie. In this review, I'm gonna be referencing the other Halloween movies, like the first movie, the remakes too. So like, yeah, whatever. It's not so much just a review of this movie, but it's also kind of like my thoughts on the whole franchise. So there we go. I like this movie. You know, Rob Zombie did an amazing job on this fucking movie. His other movies, not so much. I'm not really a fan of the what's that movie with the psychos driving across town, like killing people, and that sheriff was to stop him, and like the sheriff, played by William Forscythe, at towards the end of the movie is like positioned like, oh, he's the villain. You know, he's the guy that they need to overcome to, like, you know, these people, like, you're supposed to feel sorry for them because he's like torturing them. You know, it's like, fuck you for thinking like I should feel sorry for these people. They're serial killers. They tortured people. Like, I'm supposed to feel sorry. What? Because he's torturing like the one, like the female of the group. I'm supposed to feel for them and be like, hey, nah, this is wrong, man. This is going too fucking far. Bullshit. Anyway, moving on. This movie, there's none of that in this movie. This movie has a clear cut villain. And as for protagonist per se, I mean, I would argue that Loomis in this movie is the protagonist because, you know, he's the. You know, a lot of this movie does. Okay, well, he's one of the protagonists. This movie has multiple protagonists, kind of like the first one. Not really multiple per se. It has like two. So, and also there was, okay, starting from the beginning, you know, Michael, as a kid, you know, he's got a pretty chaotic family life. You know, his mom works as a stripper. You know, he's got an older sister who's like sleeping with this dude. I was like, she's like with this dude, and the William Forsythe, who's, I want to say Michael's dad, but it's never really like established. Is he the dad? Is he some boyfriend that the mom is happens to be shagging at that time? Like, it's never really explained per se who he is to this family, but he does not like this family. What the fuck? The guy's like, you know, he's just like, you know, like woman, like fuck you, and like screw this, and like I like when he sees like Michael coming with like this mask on. It's like you're like he's like a fucking like. I mean, I'm not gonna say that. It's a derogatory term to describe a gay person. Like he basically shits on everybody, and he even has like these like lustful looks towards like this woman's daughter. So that I'm pretty sure he's not her dad. Like he's I mean, he might be Michael's dad. I mean, maybe not, but like, I don't know. I don't. Okay, I don't think he's anybody's dad. I think he's just like a dude that she's banging who like got hurt and is now like holed up in her house. So it's like I don't know. He's just a really shitty dude. Like Like he's the definitive guy in this movie. Like every horror movie has to have that one guy that you want to see get killed. You absolutely want like the slasher to like get this guy. Just there has to be that dude, and he is very much that dude. He's the dude you want Michael to kill this guy. You want him to like slit his fucking throat towards the end. At some point in this movie, this guy has to get some kind of comeuppance for all of this bullshit. So yeah, William Forsythe does an excellent job at that, and say a lot about this movie. This movie is well lit. It's when I was watching this film as a whole, I was never really lost. I knew where the characters were in relation to each other. Um, there was no like quick cut, choppy editing and shit. Like there weren't a whole lot of special effects from what it seems. I mean, it's a horror movie. It's not like we're gonna have like some 10-foot monster come out of nowhere swiping at people and shit. No, it's a horror movie. So yeah, and for the first time, I think in the Halloween movie, like the main character of the story wasn't Laurie Strode. It wasn't Loomis. The main character in the story presents was Michael. It showed him like, oh yeah, he wasn't always this like towering, monstrous entity who just kills whoever gets in his way. Like he was at one point just a kid. He was not a normal kid. He was by no means a normal kid. But at one point, he was just a kid. He had a family. He had a sister. He had people he cared about. Until that one night on Halloween, when I think that was Michael's first kill in this movie isn't a person, it's a hamster. It's this hamster, like, he takes it out of its cage, and I'm pretty sure he guts it, and he's just like, the hamster died, and mom's like, oh, sorry, so, I'll get you one when you get down, whatever. And he even then he's like wearing masks. Only like at that point he's wearing like a clown mask or whatever. He's wearing a clown mask. Why? I don't really know. She's like either I think I missed something. I don't know. I've only saw the movie once, and it was like a week ago, so I'm not sure if my memory about it isn't that sharp. But I know like I saw like dude was wearing a clown mask, like the one Arthur Fleck was wearing in 2018 The Joker, but like without the hair. Anyway, so we go over to the kid's school and he gets picked on by these kids. Dude, every movie has, what is it with high school movies where like there's a kid as a protagonist and there's the bully who bullies them for no reason other than just cuz. Like just out of nowhere. Oh, yeah, not only that, not only like, okay, I can see why there are people out there who just want to like cause you pain and make you miserable just so they can get a kick out of it. There are those people who just get a kick out of making your life hell. But what I don't understand is why you get pissed off that when he starts fighting back. Like, dude, you're insulting dude's mom because she's a stripper, and you're like saying like, hey, like how much will she give you for a blowjob? What the. You're insinuating that you're gonna have sex with his mom. You really expect him to just stand there and take that? Would you just stand there? Fuck that. So yeah, teacher comes in, breaks that shit up. Oh, the bully kid is played by, I don't know his fucking name. I don't know his fucking name, but he was the in he's not Alexa Vega. He's the Junie from the Spy Kids movies. The first three, yeah, the good ones. He's Junie from the Spy Kids movies, and he he's a dick. It's like you don't. I mean, he gets his comeuppance, and later in the film, when Michael corners him, he like hits him in the leg, and he like beats him mercilessly with this like big stick, and he's like laying there on bloody. He's like, "Please, man, I'm begging you, like, don't kill me, man. Like, please, please don't hurt me, man. I'm sorry." It's that that's what you want. That's that fuck yeah, get him moments. Like this. That was the only moment in this movie where I could say that I was honestly rooting for this dude. And not saying something, man. Like, not saying something about Rob Zombie's like filmmaking and whatnot. That you made me root for Michael fucking Myers to kill somebody. Like, keep in mind, at this point, he's not yet the Michael Myers we all know. He's not yet wearing like the fucking but what's this Captain Kirk gray mask and the overalls and shit. He's just a guy. He's not. Oh, he's not even there yet. He's not even just a guy. He's just a kid. You know, like he's just a messed up kid who kills his hamsters and shit. It's like, you know, uh, whatever. So he beats the guy to a pulp. He's laying there all bleeding and crying and kind of pathetic and shit. It's like, you know, and he kills him. He kills him then and there. Goes back home, you know, to get ready to go out for Halloween. And it's like his mom tells him now, you know, he tells him like it's like, oh, you promised you go trick or treating with me, and it's just like, oh, like I can't, you know, I gotta work on the shift. But don't worry, your sister will take you. You know, you'll go trick or treating with her. It'll be fine. And then the mom leaves. And the sister, instead of going trick or treating with him, she invites this boy over. They go upstairs to the room, and Michael's like, "Hey, like, what about trick or treating?" And she's like, "Oh, grow." It's like, oh, he's like, she's very dismissive. He's like, grow the fuck up, you know, just like, you know, like, aren't you too old for to be doing that shit? And like, you really think I was gonna go trick or treating with you? Like, fuck that. Like, I'm gonna go upstairs, and like, me and this dude are gonna fuck, and that's that. You know, just go on about your you just go on about your fucking business. Do whatever the fuck you want, but I'm not going trick or treating. Fuck that. But goes up to the room and she proceeds to have this guy. So like Michael just sort of wanders for a bit, but then he just like goes upstairs. He kills this guy, whoever he is, kills the sister, then wanders back downstairs, kills the shitty boyfriend played by Forsyth, whatever, and you know he goes into his little sister's room, and I'm thinking, oh no, no man, like see, I don't. When a character who's been put through a whole bunch of shit finally says enough is enough, and he's like goes after the people who've been putting him through shit, that's something the audience can get behind. They can understand that. They can. I can see why someone they can kind of empathize with that. But when a character just starts killing people for no reason, like people who've done nothing, and starts killing people, even people who've been good to him, that's when it's like, nah, I'm out. I'm checking out of this fucking nut house here, man. So, but that in of itself, so he's killed his sister, he killed the shitty guy, the discount dad, whatever the fuck William Forsythe was, and is like injured as whatever. Kills him, takes his sister outside, and they just sit there in kind of a recreation of that opening from the first Halloween. Only like we don't get a POV. I mean, back in the first Halloween, we had like this POV view through the mask of like Michael killing his sister, and then going outside for his mom and dad to like come in and be like Michael, like what is this? Like what are you doing? You know, just that was then. But in this one, you know, his mom shows up. He doesn't have a dad. He just has like deadbeat whatever the fuck William Forsythe's character is. I mean, I don't know his fucking name, but like whatever the fuck that character is, he dies. The sister dies. The sister's boyfriend dies. He kills them all. And you know, Michael gets locked up. You know, the mom continues to care for the baby sister. And thing is, in this movie, it's shown that the little sister he really cares for. You know, like he, out of everyone in this fucking family, like Michael really cares for the little sister, but no one else seems to do outside of the mom. You know, like the deadbeats, like he's fucking yelling and shit, and like he just randomly like cussing out the mom, and the kid will be crying in the other room, and then he'll just be like that's all you fucking do. It's like shit, and it's like shit and cry, like eat shit and cry, wham wham, like just, and this kid is wailing its fucking head off, like just dude, do you not see that your yelling is contributing to this shit? Shut the fuck up. Like just it's like people who see that a kid is crying because of all the yelling and then yell about it like, shut that baby up! Shut that baby up! Like, dude, you're not helping. You shut the fuck up. You are not helping the situation. Jeez. What the hell? Anyway, moving on. So Michael really cares about this girl. And he's already got like Jeffrey Dahmer vibes. You know? He's already got like, keep in mind this opening is set in like the same year that the first movie came out in, you know? It's set in that time. but the rest of the story is set in the present day, which that works because this is a remake. Why would you make a remake in 2007 and have it set in the fucking 80s? Why would you do that? Yeah, it's set in the present day. So, yeah, and it fits. So, Michael's at this facility. His mom has killed herself. The sister's been given up for adoption. And, at this place, he hasn't made friends with this guard. This guard has made friends with him. The guard was played by Danny Trejo. And, he's been looking after him for years. Just like, checking in on him. Be like, hey man, sorry about your mama passing, whatever. It was just shit like that. Like essentially like some Florence Nightingale shit in a way, but with a guard instead of a nurse. So he's like just, he's the only guy in this whole place who's like actually like still nice to him. He's the only friend Michael has left outside of like Loomis and whatnot. Um, and there's what was I saying? Oh yeah, there's this other guard, the like there's this other like guy who's like transporting Michael, and it's like all right, you like big motherfucker, like get up, let's go. And Daedra was like, hey, man, like what the fuck is wrong with you? Like you can't just be telling people to get the fuck up and go. Like cool that shit. You gotta, he's the rookie. Like he's like, look, I'm not here for that shit. I just came here. I'm just gonna clock in, do my job, and punch the fuck out. I don't give a shit about these motherfuckers. They're just nuts. Leave them. Like that's we all have that coworker who doesn't give a whole lot of who doesn't give a fuck about the job. Like to him, it's the job is just a job. He's not here to make friends or whatever fuck ever. He's just here to collect his paycheck, do his job, and then peace the fuck out. Job is just a job. So yeah, he's that guy, and the dude tries to touch one of Michael's masks, and in his cell, like in the cell that Michael's in, it's like full of fucking masks. That's a whole bunch of masks. It's not just one mask. So the thing with the masks is, yeah, it's a thing. It wasn't just like Michael Myers randomly walked into a Halloween shop and put on a fucking mask. This was a thing. Dude has a thing for masks. Something about like hiding. I think it was like something to hide how ugly he is or whatever. Like how ugly he sees himself as. You know, like in the other scene, like he wore a mask to the dinner table, or like he would wear a mask to school or whatever. Like he would wear a mask to when he went to go attack that dude. It's a case of like it's creepy. It's just kind of like when a clown paints up their face. Like when a clown paints up their face to show like them smiling, but in reality they're not smiling. They're just like having a static face. They paint their face up so that it looks like they're all smiley and jolly and everything, but in reality they're just dead under there. They're emotionless. I don't know. They're just not. It's deceptive. You hide your true emotions, your true expressions. You can hide your true feelings under the mask. And in this case, like Michael Myers can hide his true self behind that mask. Because yeah, I think that's what I think is what dude wears the mask from. But like all this stuff before any of the proper killing actually gets going. What I liked about this movie more than the original, and what I still like about this movie more than subsequent sequels, is that Michael Myers is not just a guy. In those previous movies, Michael Myers was just a tall dude in overalls. This movie, fuck, this dude is tall. He is big. And when you see him like lifting people, it believably looks like, yo, this guy can lift people with one hand. He looks like someone who could do that shit. He's huge. He's got like long, mangly hair and shit, like, which makes sense. If you've just been a guy living your life in a cell, just, not shaving, not cutting your hair, it would make sense that your hair would be all long and everything. It does not make sense that you would have short hair that could be hidden under a fucking mask. Just, like, was he going to the barber every now and then in those original movies? Like what? It makes even less sense in the sequels because now he's an old man and he's still fucking lifting people like it was back in the 80s. He's still doing the shit like back in the 80s. And he's still moving really slowly like he was back in the 80s, which doesn't make sense. Why is this dude moving slowly? Why is he just like, shambling along. Why isn't he running? Like, jeez, dude. And he fucking goes to town in this movie. Holy shit, he kills people. He fucking kills people. There's a scene with the glasses and whatnot, and that scene where he had like the sheet over him, and he had like the glasses on the front, and the chick thought it was her boyfriend. See, like that is a little bit longer in this remake, and it's creepy because this movie isn't a shot-for-shot recreation of the first movie, but it redoes a lot of the plot beats, yet it updates them for like a modern setting. Like just shit, man. Hey, horny teenager is gonna horny teenager. Like horny teenagers were around back in the '80s and they're still around now. Shit. So yeah, the story plays out as normal. Laurie Strode and her friends get hunted down one by one. They get hacked to pieces one by Michael Myers. And, Loomis comes in to, Loomis, who's been watching Michael all these years. He is the guy who's coming to take Michael down. And we see him later on. Like, we see him trying to buy a gun, and at that scene where he's at the gun shop trying to buy a gun, the gun store owner is Tackleberry from the Police Academy movies. I'm like, yes, this makes sense. Like, yeah, this makes sense. I mean, if you didn't watch those movies, that camera's not gonna mean anything. But like, if you did, it's like, all right, yeah. Nice to know Rob Zombie has seen the Police Academy movies. Okay, okay, shit. Anyway, ooh, yeah. So Loomis gets a gun, teams up with a cop, and they drive around town looking for Myers. And when they finally happen upon the scene where one of his victims, I think she's the sheriff's daughter, and she doesn't die. I mean, she gets cut up to shit, dude. Like, she gets cut the fuck up by Michael, which is weird because he's been killing people up until now, and yet now when it comes to this woman, he just really bad, but he doesn't kill her. Just sort of leaves her there bleeding out. You know, it kind of reminded me of the scene in the movie Predators, where there was a Danny, also featuring Danny Trejo. Where, like, his character is like badly injured and laying there, and he's like, help me, and he's just sitting out in the field by himself. And he was like, and the one chick is like, we gotta go help him. We gotta go. And the one guy's like, no, don't go there. Like, don't go down there. It's like, that's a trap. Like, the plan is they kidnap one of the members of our group. They hurt him real bad and they leave him there injured so that when the rest of the group members come, they can kill them one by one. It's like, how do you know that? Like, how do you know they would do something like that? And he's like, because it's what I would do. And right away, because it shows like, yo, this is a place full of trained killers. Like, of course they're gonna it's like, because it's what I would do. And that was an interesting scene because it puts the trained killers on the other side of the playing field. Like, it puts them like on the receiving end of their kind of tactics. you know it's not even in a case of this, let's see how you like it. It's like, it's a case of, hey, see, this is how, now you know how it feels. It's not a case of, let's see how you like it. It's more like, now you know what it's like to be hunted. Now you know what it's like to be on the other end of your, like, devious tactics that you use. Whether you're a warlord or a yakuza or what's this, a mercenary, or a Cuban drug lord or some shit. Whether they're all predators, but in addition to that one dude, the character played by Topher Grace, he's a different kind of predator and arguably worse than the others because say what you want about like drug lord or a warlord or a mercenary, but at least they're fucking upfront. He's the worst kind of predator. He's the predator who pretends to be prey. He's a sexual predator, man. Like, that's, yeah. Anyway, that's a different movie. There's this scene where I disengaged completely from this character. Well, from like actually understanding why. Just like where Michael just became the big bad for me was the scene where he killed Danny Trejo. Because like the one guy in that whole facility, other than Loomis, who was actually like nice to him even a little bit, and he kills him like in kind of a reference to the nurse's death in Halloween 2, where he like dipped her face in that boiling water, in and out and in and out, and just damn, fuck up, fuck's sake, man. There's just hey. Mm. Yeah, it's just it was really like it was like dude, because even in that scene he kept saying, dude, he just kept saying like I was good to you, like Michael, please don't, I was good to you, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Now he's just killing people for the sake of killing people, like even like it's not even like a reflex thing. He tricked him into a false sense of security so that he could get his hands on him and kill him. Like just he didn't even like do it quickly. He like drowned he like tried to get in and out of the water, in and out of the water. It's like you could have just snapped his neck and called it a day, man. Like what the and he goes out. Oh. I mean, I was flipping back and forth here. This isn't a straightforward tell of the movie, like, I'm flipping flopping all over the place. There's this scene from this in the where he fights a guy in a bathroom stall. This is this big black guy, right? This tall black motherfucker. He was in this other movie where I can't remember anybody's names. Shit. I don't know. He was in this movie where like, he was a tall black guy, whatever. He's been in a bunch of horror movies. Let me just say that. So he steps out. He's just sitting there taking a dump, whatever. And like Michael is like knocking on the other side of the door. It's like, when I get the fuck out of here, you better be gone, or else like you and me are gonna just like we're gonna fucking see, we're gonna fight, motherfucker. And he still knocks. He's like, all right, you asked for it. And he gets up, he pulls a knife on him, and he threatens him. And they like fight, dude. They're tossing each other through stalls and shit. They're actually brawling. It's like, this is cool because it's something we've never seen before in this franchise. We've never actually seen Michael Myers go up against somebody who can like stack up to him. He's always gone up against people smaller than him or like weaker than him. He's never had to go up against a dude who could stack up to him. And this was a cool fight, but it was too short. Like he just like turns the table on the guy and like kills him with his own knife. I'm just like, damn, man. Like you could have fucked some more shit up. Smash a couple mirrors, windows. You throw in a kitchen sink if you want. Just like you could have done a lot more in that fight. But hey, on to the next. Dude somehow evades capture for. Oh, by the way, there's this scene where they go to the cemetery and they like deface the like Michael Myers' mom's tombstone, and the guy's like, "Man, who could have done this? What the fuck do you mean? Who could have done this? Who do you think did this? You dipshit!" Ugh. And then when Loomis tries to explain this shit to the detectives, like the cops, the sheriff and whatnot, he's like, "Hey, it was probably just like, some kids messing around. Probably some kids. Does this happen a lot? Does this shit happen often enough that you see a fucking dead hamster strung up in the form of a cross and you'd be like, oh, well, dude, it's like, those darn kids again. Like, this bullshit that this happens often enough that you can be like, oh, well, it was probably just a couple kids. Then, even if that is what's happening, you shouldn't be treating that shit like, those damn kids. Like, fucking arrest somebody. Jesus, do something anyway. Someone left a rotting carcass at the top of a tombstone and defaced that tombstone. What the fuck? Like, you're just casually, like, treating it like it's nothing. Fuck you. You're shitty at your job, man. Damn. And anyway, thing is, I did not like how when Loomis was trying to break it down to the sheriff, because it's like, thing is, whenever somebody in a movie has something really hard to believe to tell somebody, they'll be smart enough to say, "Look, I know this sounds crazy," which shows that yeah, I'm. It's not like because what they say is pretty insane. They're aware, like, dude, I'm like clear enough to know that this doesn't sound like this ain't normal. Okay, I'm clear enough to know this is not normal. This is crazy, but you gotta believe me. Loomis is just like, believe me. Why don't you believe me, motherfucker? You just jeez. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous that Loomis is just like, dude, just take my word for it, all right? Just take my word for it. This guy is crazy. This man is dangerous. We gotta track him down now. Strap up. Let's go. Like, just like, relax, okay? He's just one dude. We can take one dude. It's like, yeah, shit, man. Like, ugh. Hey man, the original Loomis did a better job of rounding up dudes. And to be fair, he only rounded up one dude, but he did a better job rounding up that one dude. But still. So yeah, Michael tracks down Laurie. He creeps around a bunch, kills some of her friends. Loomis comes in, tries to talk him down, which pisses me the fuck off to no end, man. Like, what? You've spent the whole movie up until now talking about how dangerous this motherfucker is. How he's not just some guy, and he's dangerous. We gotta put him down. He's crazy. He's evil. These eyes, all that shit. And then when you finally have him toe to toe, you just decide, you know what, you're gonna talk him down. Just shoot him. He's right there. Just shoot him. Like, fill him with lead and then talk. Just like, shoot him till he stops moving and then like do the whole, you don't gotta do this. Cause he's probably not dead, but he is fucked up enough that he won't be able to do much. So just like fill him with lead until you run out of bullets and then be like, yo man, don't do this. Just like, I mean, I'm out of ammo, but like I can reason with you now that you're full with holes and shit. Also, yes, this movie's Michael isn't superhuman, but he might as well be. He gets shot a bunch of times, falls from like a balcony, I think. I mean, Laurie goes with him, but like, dude, this movie makes Laurie more of a badass, actively trying more of a badass than the first one. Because like, I'm just straight. The Laurie in the first movie in like the family '80s was, I mean, she was the victim. She was the final girl. Like she she was chased by Michael, and then at the very end was able to save herself from him thanks to Loomis interjecting. But in this one, Michael pokes out Loomis's eyes, man. What the fuck? He like kills Loomis, which doesn't happen in the other one. So like, okay, he killed Loomis, and then like Laurie turns the tables and she manages to like, you know, kill him. I mean, she doesn't successfully kill him. I mean, there's a sequel to this, but shit. But yeah, she manages to turn the tables, and there's this scene but she's like on top of him. She's got the gun and she's pointing it right in his fucking face. He's not moving. We don't know if he's dead yet, but she's like just pulling the trigger, like click, reload, click, click. It's like just she doesn't believe that he's dead yet, but she wants to kill this motherfucker because he's trying to kill her, and she like actively outsmarts him at one point, and like she doesn't know that he's like her brother. I like that they kept that. That they kept that from the original thing. It's like, oh yeah, like the reason Michael Myers is after this one woman specifically is because like that's his little sister that he grew up with back in the day. That was her, the little baby girl that he didn't kill. That's her. Like she's the only family he has left. It makes a valid reason for why he's after this one woman, other than unlike the fucking reboots that scrap that shit entirely. Oh, the whole he's her brother. Nah, people just made that shit up. That's just people made that shit up. Nah, they're not related at all. So why the fuck does he give a shit? Why is he constantly chasing this one woman? Why does he give a fuck about her? He really shouldn't. And then the sequel, it's like he really doesn't. Except, he's still, yeah, because he really doesn't, considering the fact that she's out of action most of the fucking movie. And that movie just kept hammering home that ridiculous catchphrase of "Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. Evil, shut the fuck up." Jesus. My patience dies tonight. Jeez. For heaven's sake, man. What is these fucking movies? But yeah, all in all, I really did. I liked this movie. I like this movie. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a solid 7 out of 10 masks. Yeah, like a solid 7 out of 10 masks. Cause I like this movie. It's just it was well shot. I said before. The Halloween theme was in there, and it wasn't in there as much as it was in the original, but I liked like what they did with it. I liked what they did with that theme. The cast was well chosen. Even William Forsythe. William Forsythe in this movie, I feel like his role could have been played by anybody, but it couldn't have been played by anybody the way he did it. Also, like William Forsythe popping up in like that's the second time I've seen William Forsythe in a Rob Zombie movie. I think it was just like, yo, my man, like, can we give my man a job? Like I got something for you here. Like this character's not in the remake, so we'll just like slot you in here. You go play this asshole, man. Like, because I want to like give my friend a job. Just like a little thank you, shit like that. Because we buddies and we're not. I don't know if that's what happened. It probably isn't. Hey man, shit. If it is, so what? That's friendship for you, man. A famous movie director giving his buddy a job. That's something. Even if it's a bit part as an asshole in an origin story. But hey, as its own movie, this movie works, man. This movie fucking works. As a remake of the original, this movie does more than just work. It not only recaptures what made the original special, but it adds its own thing to it by like having the story set in the modern day. There's a lot of interesting things you can do with a story like revitalizing an 80s franchise in the present day. There's a lot you can do. Like with the Friday the 13th remake, it was most that remake wasn't a remake of the first movie. It was a remake of the sequel. So yeah. With that remake, that was a good remake. I won't lie, that was a good remake. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake, no, not so much. No, not quite so good. It was inferior, you know, inferior to the movies that came before. Let me just say that. But yeah, so yeah, I liked this movie. It was a good movie. It's on Netflix. Definitely check it out. One of Rob Zombie's best movies. Um, Definitely better than that clown movie he made. And it's got some interesting, got some good kills. Michael Myers is this towering presence for a change, and he's genuinely like believable as like this, like holy shit, it's fucking Michael Myers coming for us. Like it's, that's before he even gets the fucking Shatner mask. So yeah, and it was very much like, if I had to imagine it, if I had to explain it to like, it was very much like Kane, like early Kane from WWE. He's like this guy who broke out of a mental asylum to seek revenge on people and shit like that. He's just a guy killing anybody who gets in his way. Like Kane back in the day was just a guy who showed up and he was fucking people up just because they were in the way, not because like he wanted them specifically. He was fucking people up en route to getting what he did want. Like WWE tried to do that with Kane in 2002 when they unmasked him. Like he was a different kind of evil. It was good. It worked. It worked for Kane and it worked for this movie because this movie wasn't so much just let's redo Halloween. It also works as like, let us provide an origin story for Michael Myers. You know? Let's not like let's delve into the psychology of why does he do what he do. No. Let's show you the events that led to this, and then you know get rolling from there. We don't want you. We just we don't expect you to understand. We just want you to know, like this is what happened before, and this is what's happening now. Just yeah, like this is why this character is so fucking scary. Like just like in because he's not Freddy Krueger. He doesn't come for you in your dreams. He's not Jason Voorhees. He's not some unkillable zombie. He is a guy. Like Michael Myers, this big man massacring his way through people could exist. Like evil, and like everyone is capable of evil. Like even just a kid living life or like I mean it can be something as like small as like a rough childhood or abusive parents or being bullied at a young age. A lot of factors play into this, but like everyone is capable of committing evil. That's one of the takeaways from this. Just yeah. You know, I mean, everyone is capable of committing evil, but also everyone is capable of good. Like, just you could have the worst fucking backstory out of anybody. You can have the worst childhood, but you could and still turn out as a good person if I don't know. It's kind of it's not all the choices you make, but a large factor of that is like choices you make. You'd have the worst childhood out of anybody, but if you decide to lean into it, you'll become bad. But if you decide to like, hey, I'm not gonna lean into this. I'm gonna try to be a good person. It could, yeah, you're gonna be good. At the end of the day, it's like Jigsaw said, live or die. The choice is yours. You know? So yeah, that was my review of Rob Zombie's Halloween, and it was, I I liked it. 7 out of 10 masks. I'd give it that. It's a 7 out of 10 movie. So that's that. This has been the S&W Experience Reviews. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. All them nice things. I've been the Shogun. You have been awesome. And, well, until next time, y'all. Peace. Also, before I head out, just wanted to drop a small, excuse me, PSA on you about, if you or someone you know is the victim of abuse or bullying, like abuse at home, bullying at school, or just whatever, there are phone numbers you can call. There are counselors and people you can talk to, and you can tell your parents, tell someone at school, tell a teacher. Just you don't have to stow that shit inside. You're not alone in all this. There are people out there who can and do want to help you. We just have to reach out and let them know that you're in trouble so they can get you out of there. We don't, given all that's been happening recently, there's a lot that needs to be. I mean, mental health is a pretty big deal. I mean, not telling someone that you're being abused and not telling someone that you're being bullied at school and just letting that continue to happen can be harmful, not just to your physical but also your mental health. And the world needs a lot more. We it's like just if you need help, just seek it out. Just that I can't. I'm terrible at wording this. There's people out there who want to help. You just gotta ask, man. They'll let you know. Not everyone is some asshole who wants to bring nothing but hurt and pain into the world. The world needs less Michael Myers and more Laurie Strodes for black better. Sorry about that. Just I don't know. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Take care of yourselves physically and mentally. If you need help, just ask. Have a good day, y'all. Until next time, enjoy yourselves.